All right. So, yeah. Welcome everybody to this lecture. I'm very much looking forward to presenting my vision for a golden age and for a golden age, not for the golden age of others, but for the golden age of Earth humans that we create all together, don't we? Yes. So it's about where do we find solutions on the physical level, on the energetic level, on levels of happiness and everything what goes beyond the, well, tech stuff. And we shouldn't be trapped by the tech. So the first trap was getting killed somehow by bad food and all this stuff. So we have overcome that. We detox and we're still here. Yes. Now the next trap is electronics and internet and AI, where people get sucked in. And then the third trap will probably be the great savior. But as the savior is probably not having our best interest at heart, we better save ourselves, and that's the idea. So we need a plan for that. Let me shortly introduce myself. So my name is Ralf Otterpohl. I was director of a research institute in northern Germany. And with that research institute, I did a lot of work on sanitation systems. I found out that the sanitation systems we use also in this building are stupid because we are excreting into the water cycle what makes no sense at all. So that's a bad idea. Killed millions of people, and we have developed everything, high-tech, low-tech. The interest is starting to pick up, but my learning curve took 30 years from presenting a lot and being ridiculed, then attacked, and then now things are built on a large scale. And so that's rewarding. And so I'm a little bit more patient today. I always wanted to have it tomorrow, but well, things take time, especially on a level of society. Then I worked a lot with soil improvement. I still have the biggest soil or humus building research group in the German-speaking world, but only because so few people work with that. I still have 8 people doing doctorates with me, even though I'm not at the university anymore. But now I'm mainly geomancy teacher, and I'm also working a lot with people as a sort of a coaching to help them release blockages and trauma and entanglement. And it's a quick method because I'm an engineer. I work in a structured way, but then with intuition, with testing. And this is absolutely great because like in 15 to 30 minutes, somebody can get rid of the biggest obstacle in life of where to get to what you really want. And the main topic for many people, even people of 50, 60, is how do I find my pathway? And I will present lots of options today and also how to get there. And it all has to do with all the levels we are talking about here. It has to do with nutrition and being happy. So this book is sort of the condensate of like the last, well, 25 years of my work. And I'm surprised how many great solutions are out there. Everything is there for a great future, but very few people know it because like the structures are that what really makes a difference is well hidden. It's pushed away. People are ridiculed and getting well, defamation in the proper platform that offers you money to erase some words. What happened to me? I didn't do that, of course, but it's like with this we don't see the real solutions and we don't see reality very much. So let's get real and start with the basics. It's about where do we want to go? And the thing is, I want to be here. Who else? I would be in. So that's Planet for the Reptiles, for whoever. Just joking, this doesn't exist according to Wikipedia. Okay, we can go there. But now there's one thing, and it's crucial, absolutely crucial. So the most successful individuals and corporations worldwide since long time, they have one thing in common. And you probably guessed it already. What is that thing?
A vision.
It's a vision. They work with a strong vision. They not only have a vision, many people have an idea what to do, but then they have the next idea the next day, and you see these people and they get like more and more depressed because nothing works, because they don't keep going. And the thing is to have a great vision, and a vision that is open for development. And these people, the very rich ones of the last century, they were saying that they were steadily developing their vision even with invisible help. So they did it, but they hid it for, well, people for a long time, but it doesn't work anymore. So it's like we know what can be done. Now, they work with a strong vision. Not that they is one entity or something. It's multiple levels and so on, off-planet stuff and non-humans, etheric entities that are pretty nasty. And many of they are just a little wheel in a huge machine. They have no freedom at all. So don't worry if you have a few billions on your name. That's ridiculous. It's just a sign that you are so sick that you should start again and make something what makes sense and makes you happy. These people are rarely happy. So now, to us, what is your vision? What are your goals in this existence? And well, this group here, or people coming here, they all have their visions, and I'm really stunned what people do. And it's very, very interesting that we, well, have such a variety of different things people do. And the common thing is that we are excited about it. We like to share things, and so that's something what is really great. And if we look at most people today, because we are in a field where we have to work on a level of society, not only individual. And now, most people don't know. They don't know what they want to do. And I work with many people. I've worked with hundreds of people. What is your main problem? What's your main blockage? Yeah, I don't know what I really want to do. And that at age 40, 50, 60. So there's something wrong in this society, and there are reasons for that. So that's not totally their fault, but the reasons for that, low energy intensity is very common. And this is true for bodies, houses, but also for the surroundings. And in the afternoon we will work a little bit on the surroundings here. And if the energy is low, and we all know this, if you are in a burnout, you are not really having excitement for anything. And that's the sickness of the society in total, including young people. My younger daughter, she told me when she was still at school that in her, Waldorf school, Steiner school, 1/3 of these privileged children were having depressions. Not just being depressed from time to time, but serious depressions. Even among that bracket of society that shouldn't have that. And so that shows that there's something absolutely wrong. And so for the body, it's the blockages. There are entities, there's trauma, childhood trauma, entanglement with ancestors, and also trauma from other existences. Many of those I find were on other planets, even on technical structures. So it's like, it's fun to do this work because it's like so exciting what happens to people, but to see the relief if a trauma of a lifetime on another planet is resolved, and I'm feeling more lightweight. Some people look differently, and so on. So it does work. So this is something on the body level. There are great solutions. Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt has developed these methods, ART, autonomous response testing for finding trauma, but also deficiencies and parasites inside the body. What I do is just the consultancy for getting on without the blockage. Then for houses and surroundings, same thing. We have parasitic entities. A subgroup of that is demonic entities, but they need to be checked, and we don't need to give them that much energy. And that's why we stop the energy theft through also tech. So the wind turbines are energy theft actually, and also other stuff like the Wi-Fi towers and things like that. They are placed at ley lines, and so there's a very high intelligence behind it, and it's probably non-human at some level. All right, so then there are manipulators. Stuck ghosts, huge topic. Very many areas that have low energy is because there had been a war, a fight, a famine. Many people died in a traumatic way. And this is keeping the energy low in places. And that's something what we had, for example, yesterday in the neighboring village, and the whole village was low energy, even absolutely stunningly beautiful. Energy was low. There were some deceased ghosts in that place. And once released, everybody felt relief. So, good news. Easy to be done. We need a good structure. And as an engineer, I have the structure, but then I follow intuition and do the testing. And we have the math also. Now, release your trauma and entanglement, etheric hygiene, and daily priority AAA. There's nothing more important for us as individuals than keeping our energy intensity high. Vital energy is the most precious resource in the multiverse because without we couldn't live. So what else could be more important? So that's why it's stolen on such a level. There are many entities that don't have the connection to the source of all that is, and that's why they steal. And if we let them steal, what happens now, we are like, wow, it's crazy. The situation is crazy. Middle Ages, people didn't wash. Everybody was smelling. And on an etheric level, we are Middle Ages. So it's like the energetic situation for most people, for houses, for cities, even beautiful ones, and also partly nature, natural areas, is lousy, completely lousy. So work is to be done. Methods are in geomancy, for example, geobiology. And the thing is that if you keep your energy intensity high, you don't get ill. You will mostly be happy. You follow your dream and you can develop things. And so that's something I really love. And so that's my main work now, besides working with improving soils and restoring barren lands and so on. Okay, so daily etheric hygiene, priority AAA, detox, nutrition with gold and iridium. So from discussion yesterday, yeah. And well, that's high priority, but like very few farmers or gardeners are fertilizing with gold and iridium. But if we have a living soil, it can like get it. If we eat from trees, we could have the iridium from deep down and so on, and we can also ask the tree to supply that. That's why I like so much to eat from sweet chestnut trees. That's a good basic food. So now, another important issue, DHA, EPA, fatty acids. Without that, our brains do not work. People get into like the forgetting mode, what is really annoying. And so if you don't want to get there, it's a big issue and it's not so easy. You cannot easily produce it locally except with some aquaculture. And for vegetarians, it's also from algae oil. But it must be done. If this is not done, well, it's your own fault that your children don't develop well, that you get forgetting everything at old age or even at younger and younger ages. When I was young, that didn't exist, basically. That was very, very rare. Old people were normally relatively fit and, well, they had their memories. Yep. And so, keep your vital energy intensity high, offline in nature. This is escaping the grip of tech. And I use tech, I love it, but I can switch off and go out into the forest for a whole day, or like being connected to the energy flows, being connected to all there is, and then inspiration is coming, we can relax, our energy intensity is rising, and that's the beauty of areas like this in the Pyrenees. It's like fantastically energetic or energizing. All right, now please join me in realizing a visionary systems design for a golden age. And hundreds of elements that are all needed are there. What is exciting for you? After releasing the blockages and all that, what comes up as, well, I really, really want to do this. And it must not be one thing, but like 2 or 3 things, something manual outside, working on I'm going to my forest garden, I'm planting trees and all that, edible trees, obviously. And
obviously.
Yeah, our ancestors so stupid. All these trees you can't eat. Are they stupid? But in Corsica, they did it. A whole region was planting millions of sweet chestnut trees, and when a huge famine came, and it's one of the tools of them, and it's rolling out again, so be careful. We need to make local supplies, not be ignorant of that. But in that region of Corsica, this big island of France in the Mediterranean, they had planted all these trees, and when a famine hit Europe at the time, this region was thriving. They could sell things to outside, help others, but they were doing just fine. And they stopped erosion at the same time, so that's fantastic. Should be done everywhere, but now we are wisening up, and so it's part of a vision. All right, so when I searched for a published vision for a good future for all, I found none. I asked some others, they told me, my Garden Communities book, they said that was coming close, but then I said, okay, I'll write one myself. And so I'm glad I did, and I present this today. And it's Blueprint for a Golden Age, Livable Cities, Rural Revival, and the Seas. And now, just a few words on like the cities and the oceans, because it's like often not looked at. So you could say cities are beyond repair. I disagree. We can make cities that are working. You can have water recycling, nutrient recycling in cities. I've developed the systems for that. You can have energy systems. That's a non-brainer anyway when freedom comes to fruition. And it's about to, I guess. But also in the cities, the buildings should have roof gardens. It's so stupid to have cities that are so ugly, and the most expensive places just have like concrete on top or metals or antennas, but there should be, well, beautiful gardens everywhere for children to experience that carrots actually grow in the ground. Kids don't know this anymore. It's just crazy. All right, so a few words on the oceans. And one of the things with oceans, I've always been attracted to water, and the thing is that I'm very interested in getting in touch more with the other known conscious species on Earth's surface, and that's whales and dolphins. And I had some communication would like to increase it, but I also know that many of them are not interested. So it's a rare occasion where they are sort of opening up and interested in a, well, telepathic interaction. And so that's part of it. And the other things are in the book. So also clearing up the plastic stuff. And no, the oceans are not so dirty. There are specific areas that are very dirty. The plastic flows in circular patterns and all that. That can be harvested, made to new plastic, things like that. Floating islands is one of the ideas, and people live there in garden communities, floating islands, building reefs, and, well, cultivating macroalgae. And for all the trace elements, including lithium, what makes us able to feel happiness. Forbidden in the EU as food, as additive, yeah. All right, and then of course the main things are in the rule, because we need to get to regenerative agriculture, to gardening, and the things that are going on are stunning. And Europe is far behind. US is really also doing a lot now. They were faster in destruction, but they were waking up faster, having a lot of regenerative agriculture today. And Europe is sort of on a very, very bad pathway. Sorry to say that as a European, but it's like it's too sad, because we are misled on many levels. But we let ourselves be misled, so no blame on others, but blame on us. But we are wisening up, and now we have a plan. All right, so hope you're with me. Looks like, thank you. And now, one of the things that I want to give as an example, that is, we have a foundational key issue. Remember the first picture, desert planet or green planet. Restoring vital energy and water flows with geobiology and soil biology. And that's including restoring soils at all levels, and that creates abundance of water. So yes, there is a man-made climate crisis, but it's much, much worse than the nonsense that is seen in the public. It's not a trace gas that is causing all it, it's destruction of water cycles through dead soil, deforestation, all this shit. And that makes deserts known since a long time. And we can reverse that, and many people do, except for the Europeans that are going down very fast. Also South Europe, the soil destruction in Southern Europe is horrible. And yeah, but many projects come up, so there is change on the way. And my other book, Garden Communities, is giving ideas for that, because I want small-scale gardening, farming, and so on. Yes. And a friend of mine just is filing bankruptcy with 150 hectares of, that's around 500 acres, of vegetable production. That used to be huge. He was delivering to the big chains, but the big chains betray him because they pay less and less and less. And since a few years, they are below production cost. And now his land is stolen. As 100 years back, like you can read in John Steinbeck, Grapes of Wrath. Grapes of Wrath and East of Eden. It's the same thing today. I reread it. It's just stunning.
I was born in East of Eden.
Okay, so start your own field work of conscious perception and restoration of the living plasma in the land. Humans and nature co-develop their enormous potentials together. Learn it, do it, yeah, alone or with friends, and teach this stuff. And now, one of the examples I want to show you, it was, well, as a geomancer, I didn't apply it for myself, as so often. So plumbers have the leaky water taps. And so was I. So I had planted some mulberry trees in my own permaculture garden. At the same time, same soil, same sun exposure. One is like 5-6 meters high, giving lots of fruit. You can already, you can already almost climb into it. The other one was always staying this height. Same time. It's around seven years old. And then a friend was there, a clairvoyant geomancer, and I told her laughingly, look at this. And then she laughed at me and she said, don't you see that? And then obviously I saw it and was shocked, because that is on a sort of powerful place, like the plus pole in electricity giving lots of power. And that was exactly on a minus. But teaching me a lesson, so that was for a purpose that I found this wrong spot. And so we can repair this, and so I did with a Lakhovsky coil. And for the Lakhovsky coil, I took the measurements from the wonderful Alfie, so the ellipsoid, so we can also do the scales right. And that's the thing here, so you know about that. You don't need stuff anyway. You can do this also with your, like with geomancy work, without any materials. I've done this with another plant that works as well. And you have to look at it from time to time. It's not automatic. This is not technology. It's interaction of spirit and some wire. It's important. And
you said the bad spot was on a minor? Or was that...
yeah, it was sort of on a place where the vital energy was flowing out. What is natural also. It's not bad, but it's bad to plant a tree. And what is this? It seems to be rushing me here, but it's like I'm well on time, so don't worry.
There's another question.
Yes, real quick.
Yeah.
If you modulate this kind of sucking hole in there, don't you have to consider moving other currents around, like
Yeah.
there's a minus and you put it up to positive? Could it be that somewhere else is creating another minus where before it was more positive?
That's a great question. So the question was, isn't that manipulation somehow of the natural system? And yeah, that's to be considered, and that's why we do this work with intuition and with love. And I ask to rearrange the small local energy flows in a way that this tree can develop very well, while also considering elemental beings and so on. So we shouldn't impose, and that's often done with, if it's purely tech perception. It's not tech, it's our heart, our spirit with tech, and then we can do these things, and it needs to be readjusted. And now the stunning thing was this year, when this tree, so it was last year, that was September, it kept pushing into November. The other leaf had fallen off, and these leaves were still there into late November, what is unheard of. And now this year it kept going, and the same tree, you see where it has gone. It's amazing. So it doubled its height just in a year, and the 7 years before it didn't get going. So vital energy is the key for having good vegetables, having good growth of plants. It's the key aspect for having successful gardening and agriculture. And when I see farmers that do everything right, I consult lots of farmers, and some do everything right, like also even in a biodynamic way, everything. But then they ask me, what is wrong? What should I? And that's always energetics, because they don't look at that normally. Even with biodynamics, they often forget about that. Look at it as a technology, and it's not. And now it's like we have a key there. The plant that develops well on a good energy, it will have all the nutrients. And the nutrient variations are just incredible. So we can have the same plant. So let's take a grape. The worst grape from bad soil with low energy compared to the one on a spot with lots of vital energy, that would be 15 times the nutrient content. And we're eating it for the nutrients and not for the sugar, at least me. And so it's very varying in different plants. And now another even more stunning thing is, and if you only change the vital energy level in a field, you raise the nutrient density dramatically. We measure with the bricks, so bricks farming is great, so you can do this in the garden easily, and you can take this into the shop to see what is high. Not all organic is really good, and not all conventional is always bad, so that's not black and white. It's like people should look at the whole picture, including energetics. So now a story. So I'm sort of still stunned about that. This was a presentation in Switzerland, and the people that had organized the event, they were also like doing stuff in the rural, and two of them were experts in fungi, and so they were specializing on mycorrhizal fungi. And so, as you may know, the mycorrhizal fungi are the prerequisite for good growth. So that's the reason that even in very dry conditions, trees and plants still survive, because the mycorrhizal fungi, the mycelium, goes deep down and gets water. If they want water, they get water, and the plant gets them sugar. So it's local economy, and they also bring them iridium and lithium and all those nice things that we need. And many soils are lacking mycorrhizal fungi. One of the reasons is a stupid thing called fungicides. And many farmers apply, or on the land fungicides have been applied, so the mycorrhizal fungi will be dead. And that happens on large scale, and it's called olive tree die-off. You've heard of it. It's a huge crisis. It's not so much in the media anymore. It was a few years back. All the olive trees are dying, and it was considered a disease, and find a new chemical to have the magic components to restore. But it's more simple, much more simple. So these guys, Swiss guys that were doing the work on a farm, olive oil farm in Italy, huge one, and they brought in the mycorrhizal fungi. What is an art in itself? Most companies will betray you with some bad stuff. That doesn't work. They know how to do it. So, short story, or long story short, is they inoculated the olive trees that were having also this die-off, and they recovered in a few months' time. And then the next harvest, there came a surprise. So they sent the usual samples to the lab, and the lab called them and said, machine is broken, we can't say anything. Next lab, same thing. And then the fourth lab, that was in the US already, reported results. And it's like the, what is that, phenolic acid or something? That's the main component that is measured. Normally, a good olive oil, good oil is considered with 250 milligrams per liter. And so the reason why the labs didn't report was it was near 2,500.
Wow.
With the fund.
10 times.
Yeah, totally.
10 times. And now, the 2,500 is the natural state. We are betrayed all the time. And now, but we know how to do it. So easy to reverse, but people must do it. So probably a few 10,000 people are needed for doing this type of work. It's a work that is rewarding. You go outside, you travel, and you restore areas just by bringing in mycorrhizal fungi. So that's one of the things that is absolutely great. Yeah.
Yeah, how does that inoculation process work?
You get them from a proper company, what is difficult to find. I have the name in my book. And then it must be cooled all the time. You work it into the ground, moist ground, keep it moist for a while. And then it should be coming. And so this is something what is, it's an art in itself, yes.
Just growing mushrooms at my house for lion's mane and stuff.
sure.
I was getting a plug. It came inoculated, but aren't certain mycorrhizal, don't they need the wood? You know, the fiber, that carbon in the ground?
Yeah, we can also take soil from a good plant that is growing very well in the same place for a long time, never exposed to agrochemicals, and take some of that and bring it in moist into our culture. That's also possible. All right, but moving on.
Vortex brewing and putting in water and spraying areas too is a good way to spread.
There are many ways of applying also the micronutrients to the plants. There's also deficiencies very often. Well, but continuing, please, if you know farmers or gardeners, give them this book as a present that has converted so many farms. Gabe Brown, Dirt to Soil. Fantastic. And it worked even though they didn't really look at the energetics, at least I wouldn't know of. And on a 2,000 hectare, 5,000 acre farm. Amazing man, and he was giving many presentations. He has changed the world. So now, regenerative agriculture, according to me, has 8 elements. And the most important factor is the free flow of vital energy. And the science to that is geomancy or geobiology. Or looking at your field with the heart and like bringing love in, and with that you can also raise the energy. And we have some tools for that, so divining rods and stuff like that. And we need to, if we want to be good at geomancy, we need to detox, we need to get rid of our trauma and entanglement. My own story, I could only perceive after I had removed some of that stuff. Luckily, very early, and that uncle of mine, he had made one weekend course with Dr. Dietrich Klinghardt about the release of trauma. And from then on, that was a 1-hour session, detoxing mercury and releasing a childhood trauma. I could start perceiving the elemental beings and all that. And I was so happy because that's, I knew before I had been like in a cage. And yeah, so this is... one thing I want to tell you. When we do testing with like pendulum or anything else, we are inside a matrix, an overlay, but we can easily get outside the overlay. And I make this a free space of the source of all that is. Then test again, it's often changing. They manipulate for tiny stuff, and it's mostly to restrict you. And please, if you do testing, always do that. Otherwise, you are in a manipulated system and you test nonsense. All right, so that's to be remembered. Of course, the Earth grid and all that. And now one thing that needs to be considered, because we do have Tufan's beautiful models. I really love them. And there is one thing that if we look at the torus, we shouldn't take it as a thing with mathematical precision, because nature is never really precise. And now there is one of the most stunning physicists in the world, and this is Gabi Müller, old lady who is, you wouldn't think that she's one of the most brilliant physicists. And she has written a book, Viva Vortex. I don't know if it's in English, but you find some English material about her. And she says that the vortex has some sort of, if it's mathematical, it's not self-sustaining. And so you need a sort of a little appendixes. This is not exactly like it is, a bit more like that, but the representation is not really so good. But please consider this. And there are people that build a little bit of deviation of the ideal measurements into buildings. And that's also like, we don't do exactly magnetic north-south orientation of buildings. We go 2 degrees off. And that's a key to be connected to nature and to make it in a more natural and follow your intuition. It's not purely math can help, so we can get to the basic structures, but she has calculated mathematically that the pathway from the caterpillar to the butterfly is a mathematical certainty. And if you think about it, it must be. Otherwise there would be all sorts of creatures coming out of that. Luckily not. And now about the energy systems, and yeah, I'm about finishing. It's not that long anymore because like lunch break is waiting. So it's like the energy structures, working on the energy structure. I'll give you an example, not one that I did myself, but this is from Mike Zimmermann, and he works on one of the largest energy structures in the world, and that's in the Harz, in the middle of Germany. There are 12 places like this and others that are spread 20 kilometers maximum, and this is probably one of the biggest partly natural energy structures in the world. And they worked on them, people were standing in the different points. And these 12 things that are slightly modified by people like 6,000 years back or something, all they meet in one little place. There's one stone with a little cross that was made like maybe 6,000 years back. So they knew these structures, and the structures were not working anymore. And so they did this with 25 people. I couldn't go because I had my own seminar, but they were in touch with a group in India that was also doing energetic work. And the people in India realized, what have you done? Energies have changed.
This very much looks like the 7 axis of specimen.
Ah, yeah, great.
The 7th one being at the center.
Ah, yeah. Wonderful, yeah.
Leonel's
Ah, yeah.
model.
Yeah. So it was known even way back.
It's a great model.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, now 8 elements make high nutrient density, what makes us more capable of fulfilling our own goals. If we lack lithium, for example, we may be depressed and not get to what we really came for. And this is also true for having the gold and now the iridium for like going forward into in our golden age, the man-made, self-made golden age. And with high vital energy, we can get to a balanced weather if we are restoring water cycles. I want to finish up, sorry. We can discuss afterwards a little bit. 8 elements just for if you want to have a further look, but there are presentations about that. The food from trees has lots of micronutrients from the roots, and this is 1929. So we are a bit behind schedule. This all was known. And Russell Smith was a hero. And he could restore the soils and produce lots of food, and we can do the same thing. So get started. I have planted 30 sweet chestnut trees myself and many walnut trees, so please join me in that. And then also to remind you of the DHA, EPA, fatty acids, you can have aquaculture. This is a research project of our institute. And it's grass carp and floating plants. That's a good combination to produce locally DHA, EPA fatty acids. It's one of the few ways how to do it. And crucial, if supply stop, grass carp.
Oh, because of the fish.
The fish, and they are vegetarian, and there are not many vegetarian fishes. And that's a nice combination. Of course, the water will be vortexed, and also with love and prayer, so not only the technical stuff. And then making garden communities. Small farms shall feed happy humans. And the thing is that now AI systems, well, on one hand they try to trap people, that's another story, but then there are free and open systems that have been developed, like Enoch of Mike Adams, and there you find the knowledge of herbal medicine, of nutrition, huge library. All is there and it's free to use, and probably very soon we get local downloads. We can run it offline to be independent of guys that might switch off the internet. If it's switched off today, I think we have to start again with many things. So make sure to be independent, even if you have an offline situation. What can easily come for different reasons. And so AI systems and robotics will probably replace half or 80% of all the work that people do today, starting already. And coding is like, it's a non-brainer anymore. You don't need 20 coders, you just give a good prompt and you get the stuff in a minute. And so that's the reality. And so looking at a vision for society, we need good occupation that is fun, that is producing something locally. And so that's making small farms and still use AI in a positive way. And now ending with some very good news. There is huge developments around the world, not so much in Europe, but like in India. India is changing so rapidly, also some African countries, and that is like making forest gardens. And this is something, family forest gardens, and this is happening now. This is an example from, I think, Senegal. And look at the work of Professor Andrew Millison, one of the few academics that is in this field, very few. When I left university, they stopped my programs on restoration right away. It's not wanted. Solving problems is nasty for the people that live off problems, and that's a lot. The parasitics. And this is something that is now going to scale. Look at, this has 1.5 million views. 10 years back, such video was getting 1,000, 2,000, 8,000. And it's absolutely stunning. Even some have more than 10,000 views. And the Africans with their mobile phones, they look at it, and many people do it. And so that's great. And all this and a lot more is in here. Blueprint for a Golden Age. I did energetic editing for the first time. So I found that the previous title, I checked the energy level from what it could have, and it had 50%. Then I was scribbling for a new title. This one, Blueprint for a Golden Age. Wow, yeah, that was much higher in energy. And I did this paragraph for paragraph, and so the book is now really energetic.
So how different is the book if we got last year's book?
Very much different. Oh. And thanks to the feedback from many of you, that was very, very helpful. And so it's now, I think it's a great book. It's also ebook is also available. And so I have some with me, so get yours. And a beautiful and feasible vision from and for Earth humans. And if others come in, we can invite them as guests, but not as our bosses. That's where we're headed. It's my new car for in 5 years' time. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? In other words, when you say gold and iridium, I make homeopathic. I can make a little gold and make it homeopathic.
Yes.
And then standardize it in homeopathic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Would that be okay?
Yes. There is these Schüssler salts that do work, I know. And it's also homeopathic. And so why not doing it with the higher elements? It makes a lot more sense, because gold, iridium, it's costing money, but if you like multiply it in that way, absolutely great. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And lunchtime.
Can I have the mic for a second?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone, we have lunch in 10 minutes. And then in the afternoon, we start with Dan at 3 o'clock.
Outside.